20 years have passed since the world entered the age of the demons, beings that roamed over the air and land as they wreaked havoc. Humans were nothing but food for them. However, several people managed to mutate and awaken abilities to revolt against demons, an act of revolution that was powerful enough to inspire the making of hunting demons into a profession, leading to the rise of the hunters. At the Dong's Hunter Academy, students with abilities were regarded as nobles. That being said, the talentless Fang became the subject of harassment. Not only does he bear the humiliating title as the weakest in the academy, but he also suffers from the constant bullying from the ability users. A lightning-enforced metal bat hit him relentlessly on the face. Tian wore an arrogant look as he stood with his lackeys, mocking Fang's efforts. Bloodied-faced but not broken spirit, he retorted and said that an ability doesn't make him that great. But the bully was drunk in his own powers, desiring to trample on the weak to boost his fragile ego. To his surprise, a gust of wind followed through, tossing everyone in the air except him. A figure of a girl emerged, asking if it was fun to bully classmates. It was Lin, standing confidently amidst the storm of wind beneath her feet. He stared at her with admiration. She was the strongest in the academy and his childhood friend after all. The bullies couldn't believe that she helped him, a talentless trash, but they were greeted by her cold eyes, threatening to kill them if they didn't get lost. As she began releasing her wind abilities, the three bullies frantically ran away from her. She then unchained him, prompting him to express his gratitude. At this rate, she was concerned that he might repeat a grade since he hasn't awakened any abilities yet. However, he was certain that it was impossible to repeat a grade. Looking back 5 years ago, his parents died in a demon attack and his sister took care of him. Feeling guilty, he plans to drop out directly if he can't awaken any abilities, but her fist slamming against the wire fence startled him. She urged him not to give up. There's still hope for him after all. She went past him as she left a few words, saying he'll be useless trash for the rest of his life if he was unable to do it. He looked back at her leading figure, thinking she was still as straightforward as when they were still kids. Hearing her words, he managed to finally wear a determined look on his face. It was nighttime, but Fang was still running to train himself. After all, he still wanted to turn the tables even though he was the weakest in the academy. He gritted his teeth with the thought of becoming an elite like Lin. He continued enduring the harsh training in hopes of awakening his abilities. But his running was put to a halt. He saw two men running away from something. Turns out the demons have been wreaking havoc once again. Amidst the chaos, a little girl finds herself lost as she calls for help. Behind her was a towering demon, smiling as he aimed to crush the poor girl. Fang was stunned as he recognized that it was the Blade, a D-ranked demon. The demon raised its arms as the little girl screamed in terror. Despite being talentless, he gritted his teeth, courageously stepping in as he fetched the girl out of danger's way. Even he himself thinks he was crazy for helping her despite not having any abilities. The Blade smiled viciously as he charged forward, successfully piercing his back with his claw. He screamed in pain as the little girl helplessly looked at him, but the selfless Fang still had the luxury to worry for her as he told her to run away. The demon lifted him up, chuckling mischievously. He then threw him away, slamming into the concrete wall as he coughed blood. His hideous, terrifying face displayed a villainous smile, pissing him off as he realized he was just food for him. The demon approached like the inevitable death coming at Fang. He grabbed him, slamming him to the ground with his suppressive power. His eyes were weakened, reflecting his helplessness as his mind was flooded with regrets. But then his eyes regained their vigor as he steeled his nerves, determined to survive and kill Blade. The thought of killing the demon echoed in his head, his face turning red as he began awakening his latent abilities. On the verge of death, Fang was given an option to merge with the Demon Slayer. He found himself in an unknown place, confused about what was happening. A crimson-red hand grabbed his arm, followed by another hand that caressed his face, followed by lots of hands that swarmed all over him. A demonic hand reached out, asking if he would choose to merge with the Demon Slayer. As the hands grabbed him, he realized that he didn't have a choice since he was about to die. Veins popped from his face as his mouth hung open. He was thinking that this was the only chance. He extended his finger as a symbol for accepting the demon's offer. They touched, formally concluding the contract and the success of the merging process. Swirls of crimson-red energy emerged as he obtained the power of the Demon Slayer. Beneath the demon's feet was Fang undergoing a transformation. An immense eruption of demonic energy ensued, shaking the city. The Blade was startled as a more vicious demon appeared before him. He was met by cold and demonic eyes, making him nervous. Protruding claws in his hands, feet resembling that of a monster's, he transformed into something far from human. He was surprised as he stood with his Demon Slayer form. He held his head, complaining about the sharp pain he's experiencing. He stood baffled amidst the battlefield, feeling like losing his consciousness. The demon knew that there won't be any more chances like that and immediately attacked. The command to kill the enemy reverberated through his head, echoing in his mind. The demon unleashed an attack, but he managed to catch the blade with his bare hand. He lifted the enemy, throwing him away effortlessly. The demon slammed against the wall. However, Fang wasn't done with him yet and grabbed his neck, pushing his body against the ground. He mercilessly dragged the demon across the floor, then once again slammed him against a wall. The demon couldn't retaliate at all. Even his attempt at slashing him was futile as he was quick enough to dodge. He charged at him in response, landing a destructive punch to his face. He was sent flying, obliterating the buildings as he slammed against it. From a distance, two onlookers couldn't believe that the demons were fighting with each other. Fang noticed their presence and turned to them, frightening the onlookers. The voice in his head commanded him to kill the humans who discovered him. Determined to keep his sanity, he told them to get lost if they want to live. Hearing this, they immediately ran away with their tails tucked. From behind him, the blade managed to get up. Fang paid him no mind as he thought of maintaining his humanity. The enraged demon screeched, but Fang lunged forward, unintimidated. With his fists, he tore through Blade's body. It was a punch powerful enough that ripped him to shreds. It was then revealed that killing an enemy grants him their fighting abilities. Fang looked at his awakened state, far from the talentless trash he once was back then. His demon slayer form gradually dispersed as he reverted back to his human form. He looked forward, thinking that he might be captured for research if they discovered his ability. He immediately fled away, determined to keep his shapeshifter ability hidden. At the suburbs of Dong City, Fang can be seen walking through the alleys. He finally reached home, greeting his sister with his roughed-up appearance. She asked why he was only coming back now, lately noticing that he was injured. He assured her that he was fine, thinking that he was lucky to gain regeneration ability after fusing with the demon. She was almost teary-eyed as she told him to be careful, reminding him of how their parents met their tragic end. He continued assuring his sister, who wiped her tears as she went to make dinner for him. He could only remark about his sister's hard work. Fang took a quick bath, wiping his hair as he looked at the bowl of ramen his sister prepared. He was delighted at the sight of his favorite food, then asked what his sister had for dinner. She only told him that he had a sandwich at work, making him mad since she always sacrifices herself just for him. He urged her to take better care of herself and not go out of her way for him anymore. The teary-eyed sister was speechless. Tears began falling down her cheeks once again as she expressed how much he meant to her. He then put down the chopsticks on the table, then stood up and promised to earn money through his own abilities. His eyes were full of determination, wanting to give his sister a good life. She turned to him with a smile and cheered him up, saying she believes in him. He smiled upon seeing his sister's smiles. She then urged him to keep eating the ramen, as she'll go do the chores. She headed to the sink to wash the dishes, smiling at the thought of her younger brother being all matured. She had hoped that he could graduate smoothly and become a qualified hunter. Fang looked at his phone, browsing for any gigs related to demon hunting so he could earn money. He scrolled down through the list of demon bounty information. He found a suitable gig not so far from his home, making him smile as he could finally use his ability to earn money. However, there was still a problem. The demon slayer is actually a parasite that could potentially take over his body. He sighed. There's no easy task in this world after all. Lightning cracked through the sky as rain fell down. Two soldiers can be seen guarding the ruins of the battlefield. A mysterious man with long gray hair was overseeing the inspection of the ruins. He asked for surveillance footage, but nearby cameras were damaged at that time. He ordered them to gather the witness testimony so they can find the one who killed the demon blade. The man went past him and immediately complied. He already had a hunch in mind. The opponent of the blade Fang must also be another demon. The next morning, Fang can be seen walking around the octopus demon lair for his gig. He looked around, thinking about how the place he used to work turned into this. From behind him lurks the octopus tentacles. As he continued to walk, he was greeted by the corpses of hunters who fell prey to the demons. Little did he know, the octopus demons were already creeping behind him. But it wasn't too long, and he immediately perceived their dangerous aura. When he looked, he was greeted by hideous octopus demons. He looked at these classy bounties as he prepared himself for the impending battle. The three octopus demons immediately leaped, holding their weapons. They landed a devastating attack, to which he was able to dodge. He noticed how his body can now move effortlessly even in human form since his awakening. And that's not all. He can even unleash demon aura from within. The octopus demons quickly charged forward, prompting the automatic activation of Fang's blade ability that surprised him. He flailed around his hand blade as he thought of testing it. He slashed down one of them. The remaining two demons leaped forward to attack him, but they were mercilessly mutilated by the edge of his blade. As the demons lay defeated, he couldn't help but feel disappointed that he couldn't plunder any abilities. Suddenly, he was alarmed to hear a noise. Instantly, a horde of uncountable octopus demons appeared all over the place. He was stunned. He fell into their trap. He realized that these demons used the octopus monsters from earlier just to bait him. The endless army of octopus demons immediately charged forward. Fang raised his blade and slashed them. He thought of retreating, but even his escape route was blocked by them. He wasted no time and immediately cut them down. However, there are still a lot of enemies for him to deal with alone. He was slowly exhausting himself as he continued to fight them. But the determined Fang was determined to make it out alive and continued retaliating. He knew that he couldn't keep fighting for long with his human form. He opted to run away as the octopus demons chased after him. Suddenly, a tentacle grabbed his foot, alarming him. His running was put to a halt as they began wrapping around his legs. The D-class demon, Octopus, emerged with his towering figure. He looked at him with fearful eyes. He's much stronger than the blade he encountered earlier. The tentacles completely wrapped around his body, rendering him immobile. He was at the height of desperation as he knew they were going to devour him. His eyes turned red as the voice inside his head urged him to counterattack. The horde of octopus demons swarmed over him, prompting him to activate his demon form to break free. Now in his demon slayer form, Fang went on a merciless killing spree. The octopus was amazed that a human can transform into a demon. Meanwhile, he said he never thought he could fight a few lowly Class E demons just to earn money. The octopus mocked him, implying that he doesn't know of his own powers. Fang poked at the demon's arrogant attitude, kicking the ground as he leaped to attack. Every single one of his attacks carried his sentiments and will to survive. However, it wasn't enough to bring down the octopus as it retaliated, pushing Fang away from him. He prepared his tentacles and launched an attack, wrapping all over his body. The demon was delighted that he finally got a hold of him. He threatened to destroy those double swords he was so proud of. The octopus tightened his grip on him and shattered his blades, alarming Fang since he can't use it again for a short time. He then unleashed a barrage of attacks, showering with his destructive tentacles. His attack was so strong that it sent him flying. As he got up, he couldn't help but think that the octopus was far smarter than the blade. He noticed how it always opted for mid-range rather than head-on confrontation. The demon prepared to attack him once again, to which the agile Fang managed to dodge. He thought that his eyes must be its weakness, seeing how it was soft and exposed. He looked at the ground, planning to throw sand in its eyes. He stood face to face with the demon, hoping for his plan to work. He then kicked the sand toward the octopus, successfully executing his plan as the demon screamed in pain. For Fang, he must use any means necessary to deal with him. He charged forward, exploiting the opportunity created by blinding the demon with sand. The octopus was in agonizing pain, planning to separate from his body. However, Fang immediately grabbed a spear, unwilling to let him run away. He successfully pierced its head. It played dead, planning to regain its vitality before attacking him again. However, the smart Fang didn't let his guard down. He didn't buy his playing dead act and delivered the finishing blow. Finally killing the octopus, he was able to plunder its tentacle ability. As his killing intent dissipated, his human form gradually restored itself. His body was hurting all over as his self-healing ability wasn't triggered this time. He was fatigued, but somehow happy that he was able to kill the D-rank octopus demon. At the streets, people's attention was directed at one thing. Fang was carrying all the octopus demon's corpses. As he took his steps, he found himself in the front of the Hunter Guild building. As he went inside the Hunter Guild building, Fang was greeted by the sight of other bounty hunters. Suddenly, two inspectors of the Hunter Union noticed the corpse of the octopus behind his back. Fang looked at them, to which they replied with skepticism as to whether he really killed it or stole it from another hunter. He asked if students can't fight demons, to which the inspectors asked him for his hunter license to prove it. But he knew of the rules. Inspectors aren't authorized to look at others' licenses. The inspectors groundlessly concluded that he stole the demon and immediately attacked him, but their slow mugs were no match to his speed. The crowd noticed the commotion and they started paying attention. Meanwhile, an old man named Zugo smiled, thinking he was no ordinary student. The inspectors went on with their crap and charged forward. One attempted to grab his prey, but his wrist was grabbed instead. It was followed by a devastating punch to his face that sent him down. Meanwhile, the other inspector attempted to attack from behind. Fang ducked down and grabbed his hand, slamming him to the ground. The crowd displayed mixed reactions, but their murmurs were silenced when Zugo stepped forward. Turns out, he was the vice president of the Hunter Union. The inspectors pathetically turned to him, hoping he would take action. Fang wore a helpless face. Fortunately, Zugo scolded the inspectors instead. They tried to retaliate, but he immediately fired them. They could only cry as their foolish actions led to their unemployment. He then turned to him, deducing that he must have an outstanding hunter ability. He looked sad for a while, then revealed that he doesn't have any hunter abilities. The crowd were surprised at this revelation, thinking that he was hiding something. The old man smiled, patting his shoulder as he said that he believes in him. He escorted him, leaving the crowd in disbelief. As he laid down the demon corpses, Officer Sheo introduced herself as she received the items. He couldn't help but admire her flawless telekinetic ability. Meanwhile, Zugo teased them and said they could talk since Xiao is still single. Fang expressed his gratitude for accepting him even without any ability. The old man then revealed that they are of the same kind. He also has no abilities and relied on constantly honing his physical body. Fang was surprised that he was able to become the vice president of the Hunter Union without any abilities. Shell then finished the transaction and returned his bank card. He thanked her, delighted that he was able to make so much money for the first time. The old man promised to teach him some moves next time. Meanwhile, Xiao finds Fang handsome and wonders what his type was. He thought that it was nice to have the opportunity to learn from Zugo, but as he held his bank card, he was more excited to tell his sister that he earned a lot of money. It was nighttime. Fang was crossing the streets on his way home. He raised his bank card, delighted that he earned a lot of money this time. However, a news flash caught his attention. His eyes dilated in surprise. His fight with the blade was featured on it, hailing him the Demon Lord. He was worried that he was on the news, wondering who uploaded it. The deputy leader of the Demon Hunter Department, Lone Wolf, was being interviewed. He began by saying that demons were never friendly creatures and advised everyone to be careful. He then declared that they aimed to hunt the Demon Lord. Amidst the crowd that was watching the news was Fang, wearing a serious face as listened. Murmurs of mixed emotions regarding the appearance of the Demon Lord were heard. With this, he knew that he had to be careful not to reveal his identity. Back in the suburb of Dong City, he finally made it home and greeted his sister. She immediately opened up the conversation about the news of the Demon Lord. She told him to be careful on his way home. He sighed, even his sister knew about this. He told her not to pay attention to those videos, then gave her the bank card that contains his hard-earned money. He said that he became strong enough to hunt demons for money. She was happy, guessing that he awakened his hunter powers. She worriedly asked if he was hurt from fighting demons. He assured her that he was fine and urged her to take the money to pay off their parents' debt. He then asked about the demon who killed them back then. His sister looked gloomy as she said it has always been a mystery, revealing that the killer was a mysterious demon in the form of a flame. It was all she knew, leaving Fang lost in thoughts. He clenched his fist, determined to grow strong and take revenge. But his sister caressed his face, saying they don't need to take revenge yet, and they just need to live peacefully together. He blushed at her gesture. The next day, Fang was frantically running around the campus grounds as he was already late. He sprinted through the hallways, then finally reached his room. As he entered, he was greeted by the buzzing murmurs about the popular news of the Demon Lord. He sighed. Being popular is indeed tiring. Suddenly, Lin approached him and remarked that he had changed. She added that he seemed a bit stronger than the last 2 days. The bullies from earlier approached them, still not having their lessons learned. Lin prepared to teach them their lessons again, but Fang stopped her, saying she must not bother herself with a lowly dog. Hearing this, Tien was pissed. He activated his ability to attack him, propelling a bowl of food. But he effortlessly caught it, then charged and slammed the bowl to his face. Tien was sent down the floor, frustratedly hitting the ground with his fist. Electricity blitzed around his body as he charged while berating him. But to his surprise, Fang was able to dodge. He provocatively asked if that was all he could do, pissing the bully even more. He then gave him a gut-wrenching knee, sending him flying away. The bully was in disbelief that he was now strong. He stood in front of the defeated bully, unwilling to be looked down on ever again. Their classmates were both in disbelief and awe, saying that Tien deserved it. Lin knew that even if he had trained in secret, he couldn't beat the bully. She was wondering if he awakened some body-strengthening ability. Suddenly, a voice chimed in and urged them to stop. It was their teacher, asking them to follow him outside for the demon hunting test. The whole class were worried that they would have to face a real devil. Meanwhile, Tian was assisted by his lackeys as he tried to get up. Wearing a wicked expression, he threatened him that he would take revenge. With this, Fang realized that he needed to get rid of him when he got the chance. At the Academy Mountain, everyone was standing in front of the towering gate for the briefing. The instructor explained that the demon hunting test was part of the preparation for their graduation exam. In this test, they will be facing a Class F grass demon that will stimulate their potential. Seeing that the demons were low-ranked, everyone was thrilled. Lin asked for his opinion, to which he said that the competing students are far more dangerous than the demons. The instructor announced the opening of the test venue. As the massive gate opened, Tian and his lackeys hurriedly charged inside. The other students followed them shortly. Inside the test venue, human bones and corpses can be seen. Fang remarked that grass demons are weak enough that they're having difficulty killing humans. Suddenly, they were alarmed. The enemies were coming. Lin finds it unusual that the grass demons have already arrived. She told him to get behind her as he couldn't fight with so many grass demons, but to her surprise, Fang volunteered to face them. He quickly dashed around, taking down several grass demons at once. He noticed 2 more demons sneaking from behind him. They charged forward at Lin, who seemed unaware of their presence. He yelled for her to watch her back and took down the demons, leaving her surprised. He continued dashing around, thinking that these grass demons were much weaker than the blade and octopus he hunted before. Lin was surprised. How did he get so strong in just a few days? He dismissed her question and urged for them to absorb their essences first. They began absorbing their essences. Suddenly, something caught Lin's attention. The students were running away from an unexpected appearance of a stronger demon. She prepared to fight, but he stopped her as he noticed that it wasn't an ordinary demon. A tree-looking demon emerged, wreaking havoc all around the place. He was worried. It was a Class D tree demon. The tree approached them as it exuded a menacing aura. Fang patted her shoulder and told her to stay away from it. But then, Tian and his dog pack emerged, saying only cowards run away. He said that a true hunter must face demons no matter what. As the three brainless dogs stood in front of them, Lin remarked that he must have beaten his brains out. The arrogant golden retriever cluelessly faced the demon, aiming to declare his strength to Lin and Fang. From a distance, their classmates were skeptical whether Tian was indeed reliable, but since he was so confident, their classmates believed that he might have the ability to do so. He charged forward, activating his abilities. The demon effortlessly blocked his attack, smiling menacingly as it got a hold of him. He then hit him with a bottom fist, pummeling him down to the ground. His lackeys stood worried as Tian angrily demanded for them to help him. The demon raised his foot, then kicked him toward his lackeys. Fang and Ling knew that this would happen. The gap in their levels was big after all. Tian was angry that he got all beaten up. The two of them decided to step in, aiming to harvest their materials for themselves. The demon noticed their presence and turned to them. Meanwhile, their classmate couldn't believe that they were planning to deal with the tree demon. Tian's lackeys urged them to get out despite his stubbornness. Lin activated her wind abilities, unleashing her cutting waves of air, but the demon just laughed it off, surprising her that her abilities couldn't even scratch the tree demon. Fang knew that the only way to break its body was to find a hole in it. Lin continued fighting against the rampaging demon as he assessed the situation. The demon unleashed a devastating blow that shattered the ground. Fang was in a dilemma. He couldn't use his demon form to beat the enemy in Lin's presence. She was struggling to fight the demon, who seemed to be laughing at their helplessness. Fang grabbed her and urged them to get out. The demon hit the ground, summoning wooden spikes. These spikes eventually became a prison, separating the two of them. She could only call his name as the wooden prison enclosed, trapping Fang alone with the tree demon. Lin activated her wind ability to break the wood prison. Inside, the towering figure of the tree loomed over him. He began transforming as he resolved to defeat the demon before she could break the wood prison. The tree raised its fists to attack, while Fang has already completed his transformation. He dashed around, cutting the demon's arms with his blade. Fang managed to successfully injure the tree demon. It then screeched as he looked back, but the demon's injured arm grew back instantly, surprising him that it has a regeneration ability. He immediately charged, exploiting the opportunity to attack it as it recovers. He faced the demon courageously, unleashing another attack to cut it down. The tree was enraged, slamming its hands on the ground as it summoned several wooden spikes. The protruding spikes chased him, aiming to pierce his body, but he saw an opportunity to counterattack. He fused his tentacle and blade ability, summoning a sharp, cutting tentacle. The tree demon was surprised. His tentacle blade pierced through the tree's body. He then pulled it out, ripping off the demon's body. With this, he finally killed the tree. He obtained both its thorn and accelerated regeneration skill as he reverted back to his human form. He then noticed the tree demon's essence. As he knelt and reached for it, he was surprised by the wood prison suddenly breaking. Lin entered the scene and assured that she would save him, only to see that he had already killed the tree. He revealed that he awakened a body-strengthening ability that helped him defeat the demon. She was in disbelief that he had become so strong in just a few days, but he said it was not really impressive when compared to high-rank awakeners. She agreed and urged them to leave the forest first. In front of the class, the instructor praised Lin and Fang for defeating the demon, but their classmates were doubtful that Fang was of any help. Meanwhile, Tian was infuriated that he wasn't able to kill the demon. Suddenly, it was revealed that someone was looking for him. He's having a bad feeling about it as he wondered who it might be. Outside, the deputy leader of the demon hunting union was waiting. He looked at Fang, who had just arrived. Seeing his familiar face, he grew anxious that his secret might have been leaked out. He clenched his fist, saying that it'll be fine if he stayed in his human form. He smiled and asked why he was looking for him, to which he revealed that there was a teenager who saved a little girl from the demon blade. He then said that they were able to trace him. He laughed, saying that saving the girl was no big deal, but then he opened the topic about the demon lord and the blade, making him grow even more anxious. Fang murmured that it was the blue demon. He then played dumb, saying he also watched it on the TV news. From behind, Lin was wondering how Fang got involved with people from the demon hunting union. The deputy leader then asked him to narrate what happened, surprising him. He confirmed that he indeed met the demon, saying that it came after he saved the girl. The deputy leader lit his cigarette and asked where it went after, to which he said that it disappeared. However, the deputy leader saw no traces of the demon lord upon checking the cameras. He then concluded that the demon lord had merged with him instead of leaving the scene. Fang was surprised. A massive skeletal hand was summoned over him. It gripped him tightly, making him unable to break free. Lin worriedly called for Fang, but she was stopped by another summoned skeletal hand. He menacingly said that no one is authorized to interfere with the officials of the Demon Hunting Union. She couldn't retaliate because of the huge gap in strength. He desperately said that he's not the demon lord, but the deputy leader was skeptical. He then said that if he really wanted to prove his innocence, he must accept the test obediently. He placed his hand before Fang as his blue aura leaked. Given his situation, Fang was so anxious that he might get taken away for human research. The blue aura made contact with him, surprising the deputy leader as the result was not what he predicted. He was dumbfounded that this kid doesn't have a trace of demonic energy. He then revealed that he had misjudged him, deactivating his ability and letting him go. Lin berated the deputy leader for bullying them, to which he stopped her. Before he left, the man said he'll remember him and see him next time. He was lucky that his demon slayer form wasn't leaked. Lin asked if he was alright, to which he assured her. She sighed and said there were so many things to worry about, then invited Fang to dinner out of nowhere. It was nighttime. Fang and Ling were walking down the busy streets of Dong City. He threw a glance on her, admiring her beauty. On the other hand was Lin, speechless. She reached for his hands and suggested they hold hands too. They both blushed upon touching each other's hand. He smiled and looked at her, asking if they were on a date. As they walked while holding hands, they met Xiao from the Hunters Union. Fang found himself in an awkward situation, being questioned by the girls. Xiao thought he was single and planned to invite him to dinner. He introduced Lin as his classmate and childhood friend. She sighed as she realized that her chances of getting close to him were almost zero. He then asked her to join them for dinner, to which she refused and said she had to go home. She then reminded her to see Vice President Zugo for combat training. He smiled and bade his farewell, relieved that she didn't misunderstand anything. They watched as she walked away. Lin then told him that he seemed like he didn't want to leave. He replied that there's no way since they still need to have dinner. He grabbed her hand and suggested they try the tasty barbecue restaurant nearby. However, she said she was a little tired. He then proposed to carry her, only to find the next situation embarrassing. Lin was riding on his head and shoulders, making him blush. He told her that he only proposed to carry her and not give her a ride. She winked, saying it was the same thing anyway. They ignored the strangers as she began recalling their childhood memories. He closed his eyes and did the same. When they were kids, Fang used to carry her on his shoulders. He would trip on a banana peel, causing them to collapse on the ground. Lin would cry, and he would appease her by giving her chocolate. She would thank him as he patted his head. He smiled as he reminisced about those memories. He then happily sped up the pace, to which she asked him to slow down. At the barbecue restaurant, Fang let out a delighted burp after he was stuffed. Meanwhile, Lin seemed to be sulking that he didn't talk to her at all and just focused on eating. They then overheard a conversation about the charred female body on the nearby street. It was said that the body was hung on a pole, with the assailant remaining unknown. He felt strange since his parents were also burned to death. Lin suggested that they go take a look. They stood up and prepared to leave. Outside the place, the two of them found themselves behind the crowd. They were making a fuss over the burned corpse of a woman hanging on a pole. Fang guessed that the murderer did all these to deliberately create panic. But then, something caught Lin's attention. It was the pattern on the corpse's forehead. Such an ominous pattern was revealed to be the symbol of the Devil's Church. Fang recognized that the Devil's Church was a secretive organization of demons. She added that they were behind the majority of civilian deaths. They always leave behind an eye pattern at the scene after each operation. He couldn't help but notice the connecting clues. From behind the flock of crowds, a mysterious hooded man with the same eye pattern on his forehead was looking at them. He let go of the bag he was holding. Fang intuitively turned back, only to see a burning bag. The flames from the bag grew, inciting panic among the crowd. Everyone started running away as the flames went wild. He grabbed Lin's hand and pulled her to run away as well. Several people were caught in fire, screaming in pain and despair. He then saw a mysterious man trying to run away. He immediately told her that he will go after the arsonist. He sprinted fast and chased the mysterious man. He was surprised to see that someone was following him. Fang managed to catch up to him and asked who sent him. The man immediately ignited his flames, engulfing his whole body in fire. He backed away upon seeing this. He was in utter disbelief that they would rather end their lives rather than surrendering. He began wondering what kind of existence is this demon church. Lin said he was just a puppet and the real culprit must be hiding somewhere else. They also had an ominous hunch that there was more than one puppet like him. The firefighters responded, putting down the fire and assisting the victims. Some bystanders even seemed to be enjoying this tragedy, prompting an officer to scold them and tell them to leave. Fang was feeling grateful that the rescue team had arrived. He then told Lin that he would meet with Zugo to ask about this incident, requesting her to take a leave of absence for him. She agreed, wondering if he really wanted to investigate to the end. At the Hunters Union, silhouettes of hunters can be seen sparring with each other. It was Zugo and Fang. The old man complimented him. He then threw a punch to which the lad was able to dodge. He then warned him of the incoming right punch, then went in straight to his chest. Fang sat on the floor and admitted his defeat while Zugo asked why he was so distracted. He then opened up the arson incident the previous night. The old man revealed that the mastermind must be the Flame Demon. Hearing this, Fang was alarmed. He then asked for all the information about the Flame Demon, surprising the old man. He revealed that his parents were killed by the very same demon 5 years ago. Seeing how persistent he was, Zugo had no choice but to indulge him with the information. He revealed that the Flame Demon fled abroad through the Devil's Church 5 years ago. He's back now after 5 years, stronger and a lot more cunning than ever. However, Fang was resolved to find the demon and cut him into pieces. He declared that he will be tracking the demon and practicing on his own to advance to C rank. The old man looked at him with admiration, then waved his goodbye as he left. On the busy streets of the city, Fang found himself buying a weapon at the weapon shop. He's now well equipped with weapons and gears, fully prepared to take on the hard battle. He then saw the news of the rising arson incidents in the city recently. Several places were hit by arson attacks, advising the citizens to be careful. Fang knew it. There is more than one arsonist, but seeing the streets still full of people, he was certain that these incidents would continue. He shook off those thoughts, thinking that his priority would be to grow stronger first. At the convenience store, he met his sister and asked him what he was doing there. He then told her that he would not be going home for a while to practice. She told him to be careful, to which he assured that he would be fine. He then whipped out a newly bought phone as a gift for her. He then waved goodbye while she expressed her gratitude. She watched him leave with happy eyes, hoping he would get stronger and achieve his goals soon. Fang found himself wandering around the suburb of an abandoned town. He gripped his sword, preparing to face the higher-level demons in the place. The wind eerily blew around the place, carrying the fresh scent of blood in the neighborhood that alarmed him. A spider demon appeared suddenly out of nowhere. It leaped, planning to attack him sneakily from behind. However, Fang was alerted of its presence. He dodged its attack, backing away from the enraged demon. Suddenly, a shuriken came speeding toward him. He was alarmed upon seeing this, then raised his sword to block. It was the second demon, a monkey-looking monster. He's now standing in front of the face spider and the Nightwalker at the same time. But instead of getting discouraged, he was actually thrilled. The Nightwalker wore a vicious expression upon the sight of a prey. It immediately threw his shurikens, spinning at dangerously high speeds as it approached Fang. He flawlessly blocked them with his sword, figuring out that all of these weren't an illusion. The face spider jumped over him, shattering the ground as it landed while he backed away. Behind him was the monkey demon preparing a sneak attack, alarming him of its presence. The demon managed to shatter his sword, prompting him to opt into using his demon slayer's powers. He began exuding crimson energy as he faced the demons. He partially turned into his demon form, smirking as he prepared to unleash his thorn ability. He smashed the ground, summoning countless spikes directed at the enemy. With a fierce look in his eyes, he dashed forward with his hand blade. The monkey demon angrily raised his shurikens, then hurled them down towards Fang. He blocked them with his hand blade, smirking as he looked at the enemy. He hurled back the shurikens, cutting both the monkey demon as well as the spider demon. He seemed to be enjoying his killing spree. He activated his tentacle ability, imprisoning the demons within the tight grasps of his tentacle. He then mercilessly slammed them to the ground, giving them a hard time breathing. The spider demon was enraged as it spat out a large amount of black mucus. However, it was nothing but a stupid trick for him. The demons laughed, thinking they had imprisoned Fang within the black mucus. What they didn't expect was that he could break out of the entrapment with his hand blade, immediately dashing toward the spider demon. He slashed it off to pieces, its carcass raining down as he faced the remaining enemy. Desperate to keep his life intact, the monkey demon turned away to escape. However, Fang was unwilling to let it go and charged his spear. He threw it, piercing the monkey demon's back. As he killed the monkey demon, he obtained its dart ability. Killing the spider demon also granted him its black mist ability and agility enhancement. Seeing that he grew more agile, he smiled in delight, but his smiles were short-lived. A laughter was heard as mysterious silhouettes emerged from the smoke behind. Mysterious hooded men recognized that Fang was the demon lord, threatening him with their weapons. Now that his identity has been exposed, he can only get rid of those bandits to protect his secret. He faced the bandits, daring them to come if they wanted to covet his prey. The bandits verbally retaliated and threatened him. Suddenly, another mysterious figure emerged from the smoke. It was a demon riding a motorcycle and was wielding a sword. The daredevil leaped over the frightened bandits, slashing them into tiny bits mercilessly. Their minced meat rained down in front of the disturbed Fang. The daredevil laughed while Fang remained on guard after seeing its strength. The demon proceeded to mock the demon slayer for merging with a human teenager. He was alarmed, asking who the demon was and how it knew about the demon slayer. The demon only replied that Fang had no idea how strong it once was. He revealed that the demon slayer was once the strongest demon. With this, he guessed that he had come to take his power, to which the demon laughed as he confirmed it. He activated his dart ability, unwilling to surrender his power. The daredevil poked the fact that he was just a D-class, too weak to protect his power. He drove his motorcycle towards Fang, unleashing a devastating sword slash as the latter evaded. He commended his reaction speed and attacked once again. He was struggling as he blocked it. The attack was powerful enough to send him a few feet backward. Detecting that the demon was a C rank, he began activating his complete form. He planted his foot firmly to the ground, then hurled his massive shuriken towards the enemy. The daredevil caught it effortlessly, spinning it with his sword as he called his weapon in acrobatic props. He returned the attack to him, to which he unleashed his tentacles in an attempt to receive the shuriken. He successfully caught it, spinned it atop his head, then threw it back to the demon. The demon did not expect it and was surprised. The spinning shuriken hit him in the face, successfully putting a minor wound on him. This was the time he decided to take this battle seriously. Fang was alarmed. The daredevil quickly dashed forward and slashed him. He couldn't even react. That was a fast slash that immediately ripped open his body. He was bleeding heavily, prompting his demon slayer power to temporarily unleash his body's full potential. The daredevil continued berating Fang as he wounded him. However, the demon slayer power within him was rampaging, gradually transforming his body into something far more powerful, unleashing its true glorious form. The daredevil couldn't believe that his power levels were rising. As he transformed, there was nothing in his mind but the drowning voices that urged him to kill. But even though he's becoming a total demon, his will and mentality remained strong to resist corruption. He shut up the voices in his head as he charged forward with a vicious grin. Their battle continued. Fang was seemingly enjoying the feeling of slaughtering his enemy. That evil grin from his face just wouldn't fade. He unleashed a powerful horizontal cut against the daredevil, separating him away from his beloved motorcycle. But the demon stood up, enraged as he found what he did unforgivable. However, the fight has just begun for Fang. They once again went at it, exchanging slashes after slashes. The daredevil seems to be referring to himself as a knight, asking if Fang was worthy of fighting him. They crossed their swords. Suddenly, he started exerting more power. The daredevil felt it. He was surprised. He was actually pushed back in terms of strength. He smiled, fusing his tentacle and thorn abilities. The daredevil was then caught entangled with his tentacles. He tried to break free, but Fang wouldn't let him do as he pleased. However, the demon still has a trick up his sleeve. He activated his chariot ability, manipulating the motorcycle from behind him. The motorcycle drove by itself, leaping over them as it left a trail of dust behind. This gave him the opportunity to break free from the tentacles, but it was a little early for him to celebrate. Fang activated his black mist and entrapped the daredevil. He commanded his motorcycle as if it was a horse, asking it to protect him. Fang activated his agility enhancement, instantly evading the motorcycle that was dragging towards him. The conclusion of the battle now all relied on his one move. The daredevil's eyes dilated. He was instantly cut up by his hand blade. It was so fast that he couldn't even react. The daredevil looked back, muttering its final words. He then dropped on his knees, then fell forward as Fang stood victorious. He desperately tried to reach for his sword, closing his eyes as he requested for him to end his suffering. Fang offered him a quick death in exchange for the information about the Inferno, surprising the daredevil. Fang asked if he had heard of the Inferno, to which he replied he knew. He revealed that Inferno was an elite cultivated by the Devil's Church. Fang was surprised to learn that there were differences in C rank. He then revealed that Inferno was in the upper tiers of C rank, and it would be really hard to defeat him. Hearing these weak words, he couldn't help but laugh and call him a loser. He told the demon how he was weak back then, being subject to constant bullying. Through practice and hard work, he was able to grow stronger. Now that he has the power, he's determined to kill Inferno. The daredevil's jaw dropped at his ambitious declaration, then closed his eyes and asked him to kill his worthless self. However, he refused to do so as killing a loser would only make his hands dirty. Hearing those words, he began his final act. He told him that he was offering a gift, surprising Fang. He said that he's willing to burn his last bit of life force and leave his power to him. He disintegrated into crimson waves of energy that accumulated into a ball. As he gradually lost his physical form, he asked for Fang to let him witness his journey to becoming strong. His transformation was almost complete. He became a demonic sword, boasting its majestic and glorious weapon form. He extended his hands towards it, grabbing its hilt. He gradually reverted back to his human form as he held the sword. He felt the sensation of being one with the sword as she held it. Suddenly, A voice was heard commending him for brainwashing the demon and getting a free weapon. To his surprise, it was the demon slayer finally speaking itself. A crimson smoke came out of his chest, surprising him. The crimson smoke eventually formed a body, as well as a pair of demonic wings. It was the demon slayer, demanding he kneel down and worship him. Fang then bluntly asked if it was a pet form of the demon slayer. Hearing his crude words, he snapped and angrily scolded him. He then asked if he was the true form of the demon slayer, to which he gave him a vague confirmation. He clarified that he was just a soul body. However, we can regain his physical body soon if Fang would continue killing demons. He fell silent, assessing the situation and contemplating the implications of his choices. He then agreed to cooperate, asking for the demon slayer's help to kill the inferno. The demon slayer smiled. He wasn't content with just taking down a minion and suggested they overthrow the whole demon church. He remarked that he seemed excited, asking if he had a grudge against them. The demon slayer revealed it wasn't as trivial as a mere grudge. He had an irreconcilable hatred with them. He further explained that it was the Pope of the demon church who ambushed and killed him. He knew that both the demon realm and human world would never be under its rule if only he was at the peak. Fang asked who exactly is the so-called Pope of the demon church. The demon slayer only said that the church was the instigator of many conspiracy theories. He then proposed a deal to kill the Inferno demon in exchange for overthrowing the demon church. Upon hearing this ambitious request, he was surprised. The demon slayer provocatively asked if he was scared, but Fang said there was nothing to be scared of doing so. The demon slayer was delighted to hear this and praised him. However, he seemed to be skeptical of his abilities because of the way he looks right now. The demon slayer noticed this, pissed as he asked if he was doubting him. He refused it was the case and gripped his sword, suggesting that they continue fighting the demons around. Suddenly, the daredevil's motorcycle approached him. The demon slayer said that the magically enhanced motorcycle wants to recognize Fang as its owner. Without any second thoughts, he rode the motorcycle. He looked forward, fascinated that he's riding a vehicle fueled by energy instead of gasoline. He remarked that it feels so good to ride it, storming off the ghostly streets of the abandoned town. From the corners of the town's ruined building were several ghouls watching him. They couldn't help but salivate at the sight of a human. They wasted no time and immediately charged forward. Fang saw this and raised his sword. He held it, unleashing a powerful crimson-cutting energy that took down the ghouls in an instant. He continued driving as he mercilessly slashed his way through. The demon slayer said that the harvest was decent as he can use these ghouls to enhance his agility attribute. He smiled, interested at the fact that he was recording data. Fang then proposed for them to set a small goal of cleaning up the whole abandoned town. 4 days later, Lin was growing worried about Fang. After all, he hadn't returned to school yet and his phone had been off the whole time. She sighed, hoping that he didn't recklessly go alone to seek revenge on the Inferno. Meanwhile, a motorcycle can be seen traversing the streets of Dong City. His driving was put to a halt, revealing a man carrying a lot of items in his back. It was Fang with his newfound confidence and charisma. He smiled, thinking of taking revenge against the flame demon. At the Hunters Union, Xiao couldn't believe that Fang brought back so many bounties. She couldn't even begin to imagine how strong he is. Zugo also noticed the corpse of the daredevil and remarked at his increased strength. He dismissed it off as luck that he encountered the wounded demon. He changed the topic and asked if he knew of the Inferno's whereabouts. The old man revealed that the demon had no activities yet, but his subordinates have been active recently. Fang asked about the restrictions on outdoor gatherings in Dong City. However, the people resisted it, and a band named Black Sun even held a concert. Seeing as how they intentionally held a concert at such a dangerous time, they thought that it's highly suspicious. Getting a grasp of the situation, Fang thought that he had to sneak into the concert and investigate. Xiao finally settled his bounty rewards, amounting to a total of 120 million yuan. He was surprised upon hearing the amount, to which she said that the C-class demon alone was worth 100 million. He thought that they're finally getting rich while the demon slayer annoyingly looked at him. It was nighttime. Lots of fans gathered at the Black Sun VIP bar. A familiar motorcycle stopped by. It was Fang, planning to sneak into the concert. He worriedly turned to the demon slayer, to which he assured that no one could detect him except Fang. He looked at the entrance as the fans gathered. The host announced that the concert was about to begin, earning them cheers from the fans. Among them was an imposter. Fang blended himself among the crowd to sneak in. Inside the bar was the beating of drums, roaring electric guitars, and vocals that sang inspirational lyrics. All these elements combined into an impeccable harmony, touching the hearts of its listeners. However, Fang found rock music noisy while the demon slayer enjoyed it. Amidst the cheering fans, he found a familiar face. It was the deputy leader from earlier. It seems like he was also investigating the arson incidents. The band went on with their performance, providing entertainment to their fans. The vocalist then asked if everyone would join him if he offered his life to the Great Flame. This statement from him alarmed both the deputy leader and Fang. Meanwhile, everyone seemed to have been brainwashed as they all hailed the flame. The vocalist wore a villainous grin, then summoned a demonic eye over everyone. The demon slayer recognized it being a demonic sacrificial ritual circle. It finally started. The sacrificial ritual circle looked like a demonic eye, looking down over everyone as they vibed to the concert. They called to their Lord Inferno, worshipping him. The fans noticed something wrong in the concert, causing them to panic and run away. Amidst the chaotic crowd was Fang, staying still. He noticed the deputy leader doing the same, speechless as he let the situation unfold. Fang looked around, planning to exploit the chaos to hide himself and transform. Under the sacrificial ritual circle, the Black Sun Band members emitted flames in their bodies. They were delighted as they sang worship for the Inferno and the demon cult. Inferno finally emerged, grinning villainously. The deputy leader looked at him with cold eyes. His waiting wasn't in vain. The flame demon exuded an air of dominance as he walked confidently, delighted at the sight of so many people to be offered as a sacrifice. He then noticed the deputy leader, questioning his identity. The demonic Black Sun Band immediately charged forward to attack him. The deputy leader activated his skill, summoning two humongous skeletal hands to block their way. These skeleton hands balled into a fist, shattering the ground as it attacked, but the loyal cultists of the demon church continued pushing forward, planning to gang up on the deputy leader. But the deputy leader won't go down without a fight, preparing his skills. The skeletal hands surrounded him in a protective manner. Upon seeing this, Inferno couldn't help but commend his skills. Suddenly, Fang in his demon slayer form emerged from behind, attempting a sneak attack, but it didn't work. The flame demon noticed him. He immediately attacked Fang with his fire, but the tenacious demon slayer was completely unscathed. He charged forward and unleashed a chain of merciless slashes. The flame demon thought that he was a demon of the same race. He raised his fist, planning to kill him in one go. As he threw his fist, an obliterating pillar of flames followed through, to which Fang barely evaded. A massive explosion ensued, but Fang once again emerged unscathed. His face was serious. The flame demon's abilities were nothing to scoff at. As the flame demon hovered in the air, he found something amusing. He sensed the aura of the demon slayer in him. Fang immediately cut him off and lunged forward to attack him. It was an intense fight, both of them wearing fierce expressions as they faced each other. Their battle resumed, shattering the ground below them as they exchanged blows. From behind was the deputy leader fighting with the cultists. As he gave the cultists a beating of their lives, he noticed Fang in his demon form, whom everyone knew as the Demon Lord. He was surprised, wondering what grudge might he had against the flame demon. Fang unleashed sharp crimson-cutting energies, aimed to take down Inferno, but the flame demon was so confident that he didn't need to dodge. He grinned as he shattered his energy blade with his bare fists, surprising Fang. Inferno charged forward with a malicious smile on his face, aiming to display his powers. His fiery fist managed to connect, landing on his body. The flame demon managed to slam him down the ground. The deputy leader noticed it and turned around to look. Suddenly, an immense surge of energy shook the atmosphere. It was from the flame demon, lifting him by the neck. He then threw him away as if he was nothing but a piece of pebble. The demon slayer struggled to get up, thinking about the flame demon's seemingly endless power reserves. Inferno was all fiery and ferocious, mocking Fang and calling him a disgrace to demons. He threw a punch, to which he managed to barely evade. He then backed away a significant distance from him. The flame demon lifted a ruined car, then threw it in his direction. Fang summoned his crimson tentacles in response, catching the car mid-air. He gripped it and threw it back to the flame demon. Before the flame demon could even respond, he was already hit in the face. Fang continued flailing the car gripped by his tentacles. The flame demon coughed, surprised that he still has some tricks up his sleeve. As they stopped to face each other, Fang unleashed a powerful crimson aura as he asked about the arson incident from 5 years ago. However, the flame demon seemed to not remember, as it was something insignificant for him. Fang was enraged, gripping his sword tightly. He charged forward with the resolve to kill the flame demon. They once again engaged in a ferocious battle. Inferno remarked that his sword carries nothing but hatred. It has no technique. But Fang was too blinded by his rage and went on with his reckless attacks. The flame demon told him that hatred only dulls one's spirit and weakens their will. Fang groaned, only to find himself lying on the ground with a hole on his chest. The flame demon sarcastically asked why he fell, while Fang was gradually losing hope about his chances for victory. Suddenly, the demon slayer's soul appeared before him, calling him pathetic. Fang weakly asked if he came to mock him. Surprisingly, he began giving him words of wisdom. He was surprised upon hearing his little pep talk. Those words from the demon slayer made him remember the reason he was fighting, reigniting his will as he clenched his fists. The demon slayer told him to fight for himself, with nothing in mind but pure desire to kill the enemy. Fang was surprised to hear these words. while the demon slayer immediately buried himself deep within his chest. He was speechless and couldn't even retaliate. As his soul seeped through his chest, his crimson energy immediately powered up. He was exuding an immense amount of aura in front of the flame demon, who was baffled by what was happening. His eyes were that of someone who had snapped the last thread of their sanity. He was gradually entering his berserk state, roaring as he unlocked his new demon slayer form. Fang unleashed his new demon slayer form, boasting a majestic figure as he roared. Inferno was in utter disbelief. He was fatally injured, yet he still managed to evolve and get stronger. He was growing scared as he reminded him of the demon slayer. Fang lowered his head and crouched, accumulating kinetic energy. He then kicked off the ground to attack, confident in his doubled explosive power. The flame demon couldn't react at all. An obliterating fist connected to his face and sent him flying. He prepared his sharp claws, then gripped the flame demon in his neck. He slammed him down, shattering the ground below them. Inferno almost lost his consciousness. The whole place was in total ruins. Inferno was fuming mad as he glared at him. He couldn't bear being looked down on and ignited his fierce flames. As his body was engulfed in flames, he managed to break free out of his grasp. He balled his flaming hands into a fist, introducing his true form with flames fully unleashed. He prepared to take off and attack, but for Fang, it was nothing more than an ordinary fire. He did not hesitate exchanging blows with him, confident that his armored form wouldn't get burned. Fang struck him down, cutting off the flame demon's right arm. He backed away, saying it was absolutely unforgivable. He managed to regrow his arm instantly, but Fang immediately took this chance to attack him. He threw his fist, piercing the flame demon's chest, but it wasn't enough to destroy the flame demon's morale. He continued fighting back. Their clash resulted in the further destruction of the place. The flame demon threw a burst of flame against Fang, to which he brushed it off like it was nothing. He had no time to be surprised as his fist almost reached his face. Inferno was sent flying backwards, while the enraged demon slayer as he asked why he did the arson incident 5 years ago. He struggled to get up as he revealed that he was just following the orders of the Pope. Fang pointed his sword against his neck, clarifying if it was the Pope of the demonic church. The flame demon confirmed it and suggested for the demon slayer to let him go, but the vengeful Fang was unwilling to do so, enraged as he recalled his deceased parents. He raised his sword, bearing hatred and extreme malice. The flame demon was about to desperately beg for his life, but his words were put to a halt by Fang's quick downward slash. Fang's downward sword slash separated the flame demon's head from his body. But Inferno knew that as long as his fire was not extinguished, he could always reshape his body and revive. He immediately took off, leaving behind his body. Fang ordered the Red Falcon to kill him. The motorcycle drove on its own, intercepting the fleeing flame demon. Its wheels grew spikes. It then attacked the flame demon, grinding it to death. The very last of his embers were left, pathetically trying to buy his way out of inevitable death. But his excuses didn't work. He's determined to destroy both the Pope and the demon church. He delivered the final blow, granting him the ability that the flame demon once possessed, flames. He grew stronger once again. He then rode his motorcycle, thinking that he must leave as soon as possible to avoid further trouble. He wasted no time and immediately took off. Meanwhile, the deputy leader was still dealing with the Black Sun cultists. He managed to finally take them down. He looked at the massive crack in the wall, wondering how those two demons were fighting. He then went out to check the scene, only to find that the battle was over already. Fang found himself driving in a dimly lit alley. He fell down the motorcycle, coughing as his demon form began to break down. He slumped his back on a ruined wall, sighing with relief that the battle was finally over. The demon slayer asked if he was sure that he wanted to confront the Pope of the demon church. With eyes reflecting that his vengeance was far from over, he said that the Pope was the real culprit behind his parents' death. Hearing his words, the demon slayer was delighted and promised to help him become stronger. 40 minutes later after the battle, inspectors from the Hunter Union went to inspect the area. Two mysterious masked men from the demon church remarked on the death of Inferno. One of them began taking off his mask, claiming the task of sacrificing the Dong City. He revealed his inhuman face, saying that he won't let the Pope down in this mission. He leaped in the air and began attacking the inspectors. His ability was related to manipulating people's shadows. He killed them, declaring the return of the Shadow Demon. The next morning at the slums, Fang finally went home and greeted his sister. The worried sister turned back, exclaiming that he finally came home. He apologized for not being able to answer her calls as he was busy hunting demons. He then revealed that he bought the nearest convenience store, offering her the key. His sister was surprised upon hearing this, then scolded him for not keeping the money for himself. But Fang said they would have more money with the convenience store they just bought. She couldn't refute his words anymore and expressed how proud she was of him. She then revealed a white envelope, which turned out to be a letter from the Hunter Association addressed to him. They were happy to find out that he finally became an officially certified hunter. Now that he has a certificate, he can face anything with confidence. At the Dong's Academy, students were gathered for the graduation assessment. The examiners from the Hunter Association revealed that passing the exam would grant them a hunter's certificate. Everyone was fired up upon hearing this. Meanwhile, Tian and his goons didn't let the chance of mocking Fang slide. He grinned, confident that his strength has now improved after his recent training. Lin chimed in, saying he will definitely participate in the graduation assessment. Fang indeed came, exuding his newfound confidence as he walked. Lin came to greet him as she didn't see him for quite a while. He then revealed that he came to withdraw from the graduation assessment. Tian chimed in and mocked his withdrawal. His goons added fuel to the fire and poked at his withdrawal. He then revealed that the assessment is worthless to him now that he already obtained the hunter certificate. Lin was surprised. He was progressing too fast. However, Tian and his dogs didn't believe it. The examiners from the Hunter Association stepped forward to verify his certificate, to which he immediately agreed. The examiner opened his certificate, only to be surprised by its contents. It was revealed that he was a C-rank hunter praised by none other than Vice President Zugo. Tian and his dogs couldn't believe what they'd just heard as well. Lin seemed sulking that he didn't tell her his progress. Suddenly, his classmates flocked over him, showering him with praises. He sighed, feeling awkward that those who sneered at him before were now acting all kind. The examiner returned his certificate, then hinted his interest in scouting him. Tian was fuming mad, jealous that he was the center of attention. Fang said that the offer was really tempting, but he still decided to refuse. He couldn't risk exposing his identity as the Demon Slayer. The examiner seemed dissatisfied that he refused their offers. However, Lin knew that there must be a deeper reason behind Fang's refusal. The other examiner guessed that his abilities must have been acknowledged by Zugo and urged to stop inviting him. The examiner gave up, turning back as they began organizing everyone for the assessment. Fang greeted them, bored of socializing that he'd rather deal with demons. Lin approached him and said she will now be taking the graduation exam. He bade her good luck and some words of affirmation as he bumped her fist. It was finally time. The assessment ended up with some failures. However, there were also people who graduated with cool abilities. Tian was praised by his lackeys for getting a D-class elementary lightning ability. However, he wasn't happy that he was still weaker than Fang. Meanwhile, at the food court, Fang and Lin ate together to celebrate their graduation. As he looked at her, he couldn't help but admire her genius. Lin then revealed that he plans to work in an official department like the demon hunting department. As for Fang, he plans to continue working alone as a full-time demon hunter. The demon slayer then went out and mocked him that his wife might catch him soon as a demon. He angrily swiped him off, leaving her confused. She asked why he was acting strange all of a sudden, to which he said he was fine. He then raised his glass and hoped for her to get admitted to an official department soon. She smiled in response and wished for him to become a top-notch hunter. Suddenly, the television flashed reports of shadow incidents in the southern area of Dongs. It was revealed that a large number of residents have turned into shadows. These shadow people were wreaking havoc by indiscriminately attacking anyone. Lin found it strange that there was a shadow incident following the arson incident recently. Fang knew that this was plotted by the Demon Church, prompting him to go out and investigate. At the abandoned ruins of the South Dongs, a rabid shadow dog bares its fangs, only to get sliced by sharp crimson energies. Fang was casually taking a stroll around the place to investigate. He scanned the areas, guessing that there must be powerful demons hiding nearby. Little did he know, a massive shadow centipede was creeping from behind him. It took a short while for him to detect its presence. The centipede unleashed an attack to which he managed to evade, or so he thought. It turns out he's taking damage when his shadow gets hit. Fang stood there, surprised by the presence of the enemy. It launched another attack to which he barely evaded. The demon slayer mocked him, saying he couldn't handle a simple move. He remarked that it's a good thing that he has self-healing ability to counter the enemy. Several shadow creatures then emerged behind him. It was a pincer attack. He is now completely surrounded by the enemies. He gripped his sword, preparing himself for combat. He fiercely fought to take the shadow creatures down. He mercilessly slashed away at them, cutting them down like a hot knife against butter. The shadow centipede launched its attacks, to which he activated his newly acquired flame ability in response. Crimson flames emerged from his hands. He threw it to the centipede's head, burning its humongous body. Suddenly, another giant shadow monster appeared out of nowhere. Fang was surprised. It seems like he has been marked as a hunting target. The shadow monster opened its mouth, aiming to swallow him alive. He fought back and tried to resist, but he was still pushed back by the monster. He planted his foot firmly to the ground in attempts to stop the monster. He couldn't help but think that this shadow centipede is indeed quite strong. From quite a distance behind, he heard a call for help. A massive wave of water carrying shadow sharks were seen. These shadow sharks were currently devouring humans. Already struggling with his current situation, he was even more alarmed by the appearance of the sharks. The sharks then joined the fray. As he backed away, the demon slayer told him that finding the shadow demon's true form is the only way to kill it. The shadow waves are now coming back, together with the shadow creatures aiming for his life. He partially activated his demon slayer form, planning to eliminate the sharks first. As the hungry sharks continued approaching, Fang fused his black mist and fire abilities, unleashing a massive explosion of fire mist. It was so powerful that he instantly obliterated the sharks with this attack. He looked forward, thinking about how he gained a lot of demonic energy. However, the demon slayer told him that it's still too early to celebrate. As they looked up at the sky, a flock of shadow birds appeared. These birds were also noticed by the nearby hunters as they all headed in one direction. From atop an abandoned, ruined building, the shadow birds gathered in a swirling manner. There stood the shadow demon with his shadow birds, looking forward to enjoying the chaos he incited. The shadow birds have gathered near Fang, leading him to conclude that someone behind the scenes is targeting him. He used his magic sword to fend off the crows attacking him, but they just caught as they continued charging forward. He deemed that swinging his sword was futile since the crows kept coming, prompting the demon slayer to suggest a bold idea. The demon slayer stretched its wings, then carried him as he sent him flying. Even against his will, Fang couldn't help but go on with the demon slayer's crazy idea. He brought him above the skies together with the crows. Since he's already there, he had no other choice but to take the risk and proceed with the plan. He unleashed his crimson flames as he swung his sword against the murder of crows. These flames eventually grew to shield him against the shadow birds. The other hunters from below were mesmerized at the big ball of flame above. Eyeing atop a ruined building, he finally found the source of this chaos. The shadow demon smiled, commending his skills as he managed to find him. They wasted no time and immediately charged against each other. Fang seemed to be struggling, while the demon smiled as if he enjoyed the situation. The clashing of their weapons emitted a powerful shockwave that sent both of them away from each other. The shadow demon continued to commend him for being able to kill the flame demon. He added that having the ability to do so makes him worthy to be his opponent. Fang retorted, saying that his loud mouth has got nothing to do with fighting. The shadow demon unleashed a shadow-cutting energy, seemingly provoked by his taunts as he swung his scythe against him. However, this move gave Fang a good opportunity to counterattack. He extended his hands, successfully stabbing the shadow demon in his chest. However, this attack didn't work. The demon revealed that shadows can't be killed, and they can regenerate infinitely. He crouched to the ground, planning to finally take things seriously. He summoned several shadow monsters that immediately approached Fang, but to the young lad, these were nothing but petty tricks. He then launched his crimson flame as the shadow monsters charged forward. The flames were aimed against the shadow demon himself. A massive explosion ensued, engulfing the shadow demon in his crimson wrath. The explosion was so powerful that it shook the whole place. As the flames died down, Fang was wondering if the battle was over. However, the demon slayer revealed that he can sense the shadow demon's energy still gathering around. Suddenly, laughter was heard from within the thick smoke. The shadow demon survived the attack, coming back with his true demon form at that. Fang sensed that his strength is now nearing B rank, prompting the demon slayer to suggest that he unleash their trump card. Fang was alarmed while the demon slayer burrowed into his chest, causing him immense pain as he began transforming. His next demon form boasted a tough outer skin, almost like an armor covering his body. His majestic figure stood, exuding an air of dominance as he flaunted his massive sword. He grabbed the hilt of his sword, his eyes locking its gaze upon the enemy that must be taken down. He raised his sword, revealing that his strength has now reached the perfect form at C rank. Fang unleashed his crimson aura, powerful enough to shatter the ground below him. The shadow demon remarked that his giant sword would only make him sluggish, but it was none of a concern to Fang, who effortlessly lifted the sword. He struck down the shadow demon who struggled to block. He was then sent flying by nothing but his brute strength. The shadow demon was in disbelief that he could move fast even with his heavy armor and sword. Fang kicked the ground, charging forward to attack the shadow demon. His big swings were accompanied by taunting, calling him a dog of the demon church. The shadow demon retorted and said he was an official member of the demon church. But to Fang, both him and the flame demon were just pawns of the Pope. He unleashed a massive cutting energy toward the shadow demon, who told him to stop with the provocations as he retaliated. The shadow demon launched 2 purple rays against him, but he just brushed it off as mere pointless shadow tricks. The shadow was in disbelief that his shadow attacks couldn't pierce through his tough armor. Fang launched a heavy downward swing against the opponent, whose face displayed visible struggles to block it. Fang was completely overpowering the shadow demon, even shattering the whole building they stood up on. As the building completely collapsed, the shadow demon was seen gradually losing to him. The demon slayer continued to push forward, pinning him down the ground as he commended his cockroach-like resilience. He then activated shadow shifting and managed to escape his grasp. However, activating such a skill has depleted a lot of his energy. He now prepared to activate his shadow arm, unleashing a massive purple aura that alarmed the demon slayer. The battle went on, with the shadow demon finally catching up with Fang's strength. The purple aura of the shadow demon dominated the skies and summoned numerous shadow creatures. The shadow creatures charged forward, screaming their loyalty to the shadow demon. They were aiming to join the fray. As Fang stopped for a moment, he found himself surrounded by the shadow creatures. The shadow demon told him to bring it on. However, this situation turned out to be more favorable, as killing the shadow creatures replenishes his energy. Knowing this, he mercilessly cut them down and feasted on their energy. He continued hacking and slashing, planning to kill as many shadow creatures as there were. The shadow demon himself couldn't make sense that he doesn't seem to get weaker. He's even complaining that there were still too few shadows for him to kill. The shadow demon figured out that he was absorbing the demonic aura by killing the shadow creatures. Knowing this, he activated the shadow self-destruct mode to counterattack. The shadow creatures bloated themselves up, approaching Fang as they prepared to blow themselves off. However, he wasn't willing to accept this gift from the shadow demon and unleashed his tentacles. He grabbed the shadow bombs with it, then tossed them back to the shadow demon. These shadow bombs exploded right in the enemy's face. The demon slayer gripped his sword and charged forward to deliver his execution. But the shadow demon wasn't willing to go down without a fight. However, his scythe wasn't able to block the demon slayer's sword, piercing through and slashing him. With this, the shadow demon was finally slain, and he has acquired the shadow clone ability. The sun began rising upon the horizon, a poetic ending befitting the shadow's end. Before he fully perished, he stated that killing him was useless. He revealed that the demon church had already amassed a massive army by conquering nearby cities. However, the words of a dying man hold no meaning to the demon slayer. With a simple sword slash, he quickly put an end to his suffering. The shadow demon disintegrated into thin air, leaving behind only his mask. Fang held it as he began reverting back into his human form. The demon slayer then quickly urged him to try out his newly acquired clone ability, to which he immediately complied and unleashed a ray of crimson energy. The crimson energy burned accumulated, eventually taking the shape of the basic demon slayer form. The demon slayer told him to try giving the clones some attack orders. Fang then ordered his clone to smash the ruined wall in front of them. Without hesitation, the clone immediately charged, further shattering the ruined walls into pieces. Seeing its strength being around beginner C rank, it would definitely be helpful to him. The demon slayer reminded him he still needed to strengthen himself to face the incoming demons. But Fang wasn't nervous. The more demons there are, the more demonic ability he can plunder. 2 days later, an important news was reported on national television. It was revealed that the demon church's army had occupied neighboring cities and were planning to conquer Dongs. In fact, they had already started wreaking havoc in the city. Numerous demons were seen thrashing the city and killing civilians. The hunters finally arrived. They fiercely defended the city from the demon attacks. At Fang's convenience store located in the suburb of Dongs, the sisters were watching the news about the demon army's invasion. Fang geared himself up, planning to step forward to gain more experience. His sister seemed worried and urged him to take a break for a while. But as long as the demon church exists, he can never rest easy. As the demons continued inciting chaos and killing humans, a crimson figure came sprinting, alarming the demons of its presence. The crimson figure unleashed its hand blades, mutilating the monsters in an instant. Some people recognized it as a demon king, though they wonder how it became a red version. As the clash went on, a crimson motorcycle arrived at the scene. Riding on it was Fang, planning to infiltrate the enemy ranks as they were busy with his clone. The motorcycle revved, followed by a clean sword slash from Fang that dismembered the monsters in an instant. Truly, having the assistance of the clone makes things convenient for him. Meanwhile, the demon slayer found it amusing. Fang gained the ability to summon a spearman. Fang wondered if he became a necromancer, to which the demon slayer called him delusional. He closed his eyes, then immediately tried out this new skill. A summoning circle was conjured, summoning a demonic spearman. He wondered if he can only summon spearmen since he and his clone have killed quite a few swordsmen as well. The demon slayer confirmed, blushing as he said he just forgot to record it in the book. Strange markings appeared in his hands, making him smile as he began to comprehend more of these demonic runes. He raised his left hand and summoned all class types. Demons began pouring out of the summoning circle. There was a soldier, a mage, and a shield bearer. He now had 4 demon soldiers, enough to form a small team. He left the leading of this team to his clone, who possesses a part of his soul. From a distance, the army of enemy demons can be seen marching forward. The both of them smiled. It's now time to harvest. He immediately ordered the demon squad to charge forward, to which they immediately complied. As the fierce battle started, another demon appeared from above. It was one of the demon pope's dogs, ready to deliver retribution to those who go against the will of the demon church. He raised his axe, aiming to mangle Fang. The demon launched a powerful attack, but the young lad evaded it calmly. He proceeded to taunt the demon, while the demon slayer told him to take out both the demon and its mount. The demon did not like it while Fang ordered the red falcon to attack. The motorcycle drove by itself, sneaking behind the demon. The demon was surprised upon seeing this. The motorcycle then attacked them, to which they were barely able to evade. The demon flinched. Even the exhaust of the motorcycle had demonic energy. Fang commended his motorcycle as he grabbed it for a ride. He smiled, continuing with his provocations. The demon was in disbelief that the motorcycle's speed was on par with his eye-demon flying beast. The demon flew over him, while he just continued revving the engine. He then saw several more troops as he went on driving. He then infused his demonic energy into the red falcon to enhance its attack power. The motorcycle roared, almost flying as they went to an overdrive. They were so fast, leaving nothing in their trail but dust and debris. He led them into the city buildings to restrain the enemy's flying ability. As the demon followed Fang, he figured out that he purposely led him there to set up an ambush behind the buildings. Knowing this, he planned to destroy the whole place to blow off all possible covers. He spun his weapon, emitting an intense barrage of lightning to destroy the buildings. He laughed, satisfied as he gazed upon the destruction he caused. Suddenly, tentacles emerged from the rubbles, surprising him. He couldn't make sense of it. Where did all these tentacles come from? The demon found himself surrounded by Fang's tentacles. Another one came rushing toward him, gripping him tightly. Several more tentacles began holding him down as well as his mount. A massive explosion ensued as the tentacles slammed them to the ground. The demon was having a hard time breaking free. Frustrated, he demanded for him to come out and fight him one-on-one. Fang came rushing as he rode his motorcycle, leaping in the air and approaching the tied-down demon. With a fierce look on his face, raised his sword. The demon's eyes dilated, alarmed. A heavy downward sword slash was launched against him, shattering the ground below. The demon yelled, fearing that he was gonna get chopped in half. The sword pierced his body, prompting him to commit self-destruction. An immense amount of demonic energy accumulated in the demon's body, followed by a massive explosion that shook the whole place. Dust, debris, and smoke from the explosion covered everything. As these dust and smoke began to settle, a massive amount of crimson energy can be seen in the center of the crater. Fortunately, Fang was able to activate his thorn ability at the last moment to shield himself. He looked at the remains of the demon who had already died from self-destruction, or so he thought. He was alarmed by the green demonic energy that began accumulating. He couldn't believe what was happening. Turns out, the demon possesses the undead zombie constitution. Fang mercilessly slashed him to pieces, but it was useless against the demon's insane regeneration. He revealed that he also absorbed the tentacle ability during the self-destruction. This is definitely not good news for him. The demon threatened to kill him using his own abilities, to which Fang responded by immediately unleashing his tentacles. He managed to hold him down, noticing that the demon was still not very familiar with the tentacle ability. The demon was surprised, struggling to break free. He knew that his body had indeed slowed down after reintegration. The demon retaliated, confident that he was immortal and can always reshape his body. However, Fang knew that his ability to physically regenerate was weak against fire. He set him into fire. His massive body was engulfed by his raging flames. The demon could only let out screams of desperation, while he was being reduced into nothing but ashes. Fang stood triumphantly as he managed to kill the demon, allowing him to plunder its physical regeneration ability. He was a bit skeptical, to which the demon slayer suggested they could test it by cutting off his hands. He refused and urged that they continue exploring the city. At the other parts of the chaotic city, hunters can be seen still struggling against the demons. A silhouette was then noticed emerging from the smoke, spitting the image of a mysterious knight riding a humongous wolf. He then swung his scythe to clear his way. He felt that the aura of the necromancer had completely dissipated, leading him to conclude that he must have died. An enemy capable of killing the necromancer must be at least at peak C